Hi, I'm Sugar from Sugar. Thanks for joining me. Today we're just having a bit of a chat about how I started blogging, why I keep blogging now, like almost a decade later. I guess it's my blog history. Yeah, that's about it, I think.
We got a summer of the kind of movie love, all in for some more of anything that comes along. Oh, forever high above the kind of...
My blog opened the last day of October in 2009, and I opened it on Blogger. It took me a really long time to find a name, and if you're familiar with my blog, you'll know the story about how after ages and ages of searching, I thought, you know what's sort of optimistic, but sugarcoat it can mean all sorts of things. And so I was like, I typed it in and I spelt sugar with an E, and a blog name was born. I did, however, for a little while think I was a bit of a genius. Like, how has no one ever thought of this before? Like, sugarcoat it. What a great name for a blog. But they kind of did. They had. It's a baking shop even. It's Instagram's up to like here. Yeah, so what turned out, it took me months actually to realize that sugar wasn't spelt with an ER, which is kind of embarrassing to admit, but it happened, so we'll get on board. That night that I opened it, I posted things like there was an image collage there, and what else did I have? Just little snippets of my day. We had an exchange student living with us at the time, so I'd written a bit about our experience with her. And from there, I really just curated a whole bunch of images and stories and things like that, really. Basically, I came across the blogger icon. I was working in Gmail at the time. I worked for a business that the owners were based overseas, and I lived where I live, and we worked via Gmail. We used Google Docs, Google Sheets, all that sort of stuff. And one night when I was in there, I was just like, okay, well, what's this orange thing? Yeah, and it turned out it was Blogger. And I had my blog on Blogger for years and I loved it. People were switching to WordPress, they were monetizing their blogs, and I was just like, yeah, that's great, but I'm happy on Blogger. It's really easy here. I don't have to think about anything. It's why change what isn't broken? And then my blog got pulled down. So I got an email that said you've had a terms of use violation and your blog has been removed. And I was just like, what? And so I replied, obviously, and I was saying, okay, well, what's the violation? Tell me more about it, all that sort of thing. And no one replied. And it was, hours and hours and hours are going past, and I was only about a week out from Christmas. So I was thinking, if I don't get this up, they're all going to go on holidays. It's Australia. We pretty much shut down and go to the beach. So I was like, what am I going to do? And about the 20th hour, about the time that I actually just had a cry, because I was thinking, if all those years of blogging have gone out the window and none of it, like, I can't remember if it was backed up. I'm assuming it wasn't, given the general level of panic. But I was thinking, if all those years of what I've created is gone, I don't know how to deal with that. So even before, and plot twist, Blogger did reinstate my blog. Someone tweeted me and said, try this email address, send it to this guy, he'll be able to review it for you. It's all on the download. Don't tell anyone, don't share this email address. And I was like, no, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Just if this gives me a chance of getting my blog back, I'll be good. I'll do what you told me to do. And it did. But before that happened, I started moving my blog to WordPress. And oh man, I hated it. That first sort of 3 to 6 months when I'd moved over, I had no idea what I was doing on WordPress, and I just felt like it was getting between me and writing what I wanted to write, and being able to just with ease pop in there and write and pop back out and all nicey. But I was just like, man, I'm not going to let Blogger do that to me again. You know, if I have my WordPress site and it's hosted and I back it up myself and I save this and I do that, and if I break it and if I bring it down, it's on my head. I felt like I need to be somewhere where I have more control over this. And yes, I guess that, and I get that a host can have terms of use and violations and all that sort of stuff as well. But I just feel like it's more in my hands with WordPress. And obviously there's more opportunities for me to, I've always been a fan of monetizing blogs. I think if you're offering something to people, you should be paid for that. So WordPress also gives me plenty of opportunity to do that. And I'm pretty sure it's just, you're allowed to do what you want when you build your own self-hosted WordPress, whereas WordPress.org and Blogger, I think, have terms about advertising and stuff. Like you could use AdSense, but nothing else. Anyway, don't quote me on it. It's been a while since I've been on Blogger. It took me probably a couple of months to realise that Australia actually had quite a diverse, even at that stage, blogging community. So I went out and I was looking for just ways to get people to read my blog, because I'm going to be completely honest, I've never been one of those people who are like, I don't care if anyone reads it, I write it for me. I've always said if that's the case, then maybe don't worry about putting it on the internet and just put it in a journal or something like that, save it in a Word doc, whatever. So yeah, I went on the lookout and I was trying to find a community, really. So I started on Twitter, and from there I found what was it was just a community blog on Blogger called Blog This, and it was run by predominantly Australian women, and there was a weekly challenge for stuff that you could blog about, and I loved it. I got involved straight away. I went through that whole directory. I visited every single blog on there, and if they were even remotely interesting to what I wanted to talk about, I followed them. I had a blog roll when Blogger shut down Friend Connect, I'm pretty sure I was following something like 800 blogs. I just loved it. I immersed myself in it like 100%. I was blogging pretty much every day, and after a little while I wanted to include my own photography, and I wanted to do more than write and share my day-to-day stuff. I really felt like I was getting an opportunity to stretch myself in terms of blogging. So I've always loved writing and taking photographs and creating stuff. And so blogging was the perfect culmination of all those things for me. So from there, I made heaps more blogging friends, and then I started making some friends who were doing plus size blogging. So they were sharing outfit photos, they were talking about where they were buying their clothing, all that sort of stuff. And with a bit of encouragement, about 2.5 years after I started my blog, I posted my first outfit photos. So by this time, we're looking at late 2011, early 2012. And I hated it, to be honest. I had a fringe at the time, and like you can see my hair, it's wavy and it's always out of control, and I'm not sure I'm ever going to be one of those bloggers on YouTube who always has perfect makeup and hair. I'm not sure I could pull that off. I'm not sure I could ever pull that off in real life or YouTube. Anyway, so I had a fringe, and it was an absolute nightmare. Getting photos with a fringe and having it behave itself was nearly impossible. So what I'd do is I'd take outfits that I'd worn over the week or the month or whatever, and I'd put them together and I'd photograph them all on this one good hair day, which seems kind of ridiculous, but it was my first experience of batching content. So I learned pretty quickly that if I could take all those photos, edit them, then from there I could just really I could schedule them out, so a couple of days at a time. At one point, I'm pretty sure I was doing 2 to 3 outfit posts a week, which was fine. It's intense. I don't know, I couldn't maintain that now. A, because I just stopped buying that many clothes and I don't go anywhere anymore. So I used to have a full-time job, and so I'd buy clothes with that full-time job money, and then I'd wear those clothes to work, or I'd wear them after work with friends and stuff like that. And it was just really a case of when that all stopped, I got really present to the fact that I had a whole wardrobe full of clothes that I wasn't wearing and I didn't necessarily like. And so about a year into my blogging, like fashion blogging career, I decided to scale it back a little, I guess. I'd always enjoyed talking about confidence and how to set goals for yourself and tackle things like that. So I took that on in the blog as well. My first major series was Confident You, and it was a 28-day post series. So there was a post every day. Ugh, such a nightmare. And about 2 weeks into that, I was traveling for 2 weeks. So I had to do a lot of prep work before. But anyway, Confident You was one of my first challenges, and it brought a lot of people to my blog, and I think it really solidified the community there. Women who had been popping by my blog or stopping there every now and again really became part of that community. And it was a great thing for me. I just felt like what I was doing was making a difference. And then my next challenge was, thinking phase, Fashion Anarchy, which was a 5-day series. So I did that one post a day over 5 weeks just because there were challenges involved with each of those, and I wanted people to be able to be like, okay, I'm going to clean out my wardrobe, and this time I'm going to check out what's missing from the things that I like to wear and do and things like that. And from there, it's just all kind of rolled down. So I've done a couple more Confident You challenges. After all these years blogging, that's the main thing for me. It started as a way to journal and chronicle my life and just have it there in a way that could be shared. And now it's really, not only do I pretty much blog more than part-time, I've tried full-time before. I go a little crazy and I'm not so good with structure. So I blog part-time and I run my business, my social media business, and it's become more than a place to just journal and chronicle stuff. It's a place for me to share what's going on for me, my expertise in certain areas, and to have all these conversations with women about not only what they're wearing, but what they want out of life, how they feel about themselves, and all that sort of thing. And I'm slouching. Terrible sloucher. Slouchy, slouchy. The light in here just keeps changing. Ugh. Natural light. What can you do? So yeah, that's a little about how my blog started and, you know, I guess a bit of my blogging story. Not really sure what else to talk about. So yeah, if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, if you're stuck here all the way to here with me, then give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and I hope you'll think about subscribing because I'm going to be talking about blogging, plus size fashion blogging, and lifestyle blogging in particular. And that's awesome. So let's face it, there's 101 places that you can learn about blogging out there, but no one tackles it from a plus blogging perspective. And I feel like I can do that. After all these years, I feel like I can offer that to you and share what's working for me and what's not in our actual field. Okay? So we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. That was the same thing. I said the same thing like 3 times.
We got a summer of the kind of movie love. All in for some more of anything that comes along. Oh, forever high above. The kind of feeling of letting go and go free falling, living on top of the world. Blue skies and night swings, never keeping track.